Welcome to issue 7 of Motovision, the video magazine. This month's issue includes 250cc GP action from Japan, where Demaria continues his winning streak while the points gap between Albertine and Evans widens. We then go to Belgium, where Bob Moore's 9-year wait comes to an end, and he finally clinches his first world title ahead of the promising young Italian Alessio Chiodi. We return to the 250s and Geldorf in Germany for the final round of the World Championship to see Albertine clinch his third world title before heading off to America. And finally the Motocross Des Nations, where Great Britain's team of Malin, Herring and Nicol put an end to America's 13-year winning streak. That's all in this issue of Motovision, the video magazine.
Round 14 of the World 250 Championship came to Japan and Suzuka, and the circuit incidentally situated just at the back of the world famous Formula 1 car racing circuit. Those are the two quickest boys in time training this morning. Demaria and Nicol, the two Hondas, are the quickest. Albertine not happy with the start gate, asking for slight modifications to be made. Everts looks on, so does Paul Cooper, the South African. Cooper now in his third race in Europe, racing Grand Prix, and already beginning to settle himself down. Demaria it was then that led the riders down onto the line for Heat 1. Very hot, a very humid Suzuka. Andre Bartolini, 79. Albertine settles beside him. Nicol on the other side. There's Albie, there's Everts, and 71, that's Ron Titchener, the American, racing the Japanese Championships for 1994. It'll be interesting to see what Titchener can do at this Grand Prix race. 15-second board is up, flaps down to show the 5-second board, and the gate drops. And who will it be? And Bartolini looks to have got a cracker, but no, it's DeWitt, Bartolini, Bollé, and Demaria. Bevort has gone through, Ivan went through. Now, where is Everts? And now, well, someone's on the floor, and it's Albertine. Making some adjustments to his clutch, obviously been damaged when it hit the floor. Albertine right at the back of the pack. He has got a lot to do in this one. Round 14, the penultimate round, and it's the Frenchman, Demaria, that goes to the head of the field. Really not way of stopping this Frenchman when he's on it's Bartolini chasing him. There is Nicol, the British rider, and there's Everts. He got a terrible start as well. Now where's Albertine? Remember, he was at the back but already beginning to side his way through. He's going to have to work hard. It's Demaria and Bartolini, then it's Boland, the American. That's Demaria's teammate. Nicol has gone through. There was Titchener, 71. There's Peter Ivan, and he has got his teammate, Stefan Everts, behind him. Now where's Albie? And there he is. He's up with his teammate, DeWitt. DeWitt looks over his shoulder and waves him through. So there's team tactics for you. Werner DeWitt moves over and lets Albie through. But it is Demaria. And look at that, Bartolini goes around the jump. It's very much a one-line circuit here. The riders weren't exactly impressed with it. Oh, there's Titchener, 71. There is Everts behind that group. So where's Albertine now? And someone's on the floor. Well, there's Albertine just coming through. He's with Paul Cooper, a fellow South African. Cooper riding the Castrol Hondas for 1994, and there's DeWitt. Well, it really is all about getting your head down here for Albertine, but Demaria comes through the whoopie-doos, and he'll enjoy that very much Supercross style with Bartolini, 79, the second of the Chesterfield riders, right behind him. We're looking for Albertine. Boland has gone through, so has Nicol, and this is Everts. Stefan Everts having to work extremely hard, up with Peter Ivan at the moment. Now this is Albertine coming through, having to pick his way back through the riders. The South African, the 21-year-old from Johannesburg, the Chartwell district of Johannesburg is where he actually originates from, having to work his socks off. Bartolini still chasing the leader. The American Talon Volan, he's still there third. He's got the British rider Kurt Nickel behind him. Then it is Bollé, and behind Bollé, well, there's Bevorts. That was Titchener going through in front of Bevorts. And there is Everts. He's got Schmidt directly in front of him. So, and there's Albertine. So Albie, he's following the major points contenders in the championship at the moment. This man, he's third in the championship. The Frenchman's Yves Duvaret, 77 on the Pepsi Honda. There's Bartolini, 79. He still hangs on to second. Volan coming under pressure from Kurt Nickel. He's second year at 250 level now for Nickel and really is showing all his potential. Everts still chasing at the moment. That is Schmidt. There is Albertina. Albie has got a lot to do. Still not in touch with the leaders. Demarier, 77. He takes the checkered flag. Second then for Bartolini, 79 on the Yamaha. Then Nickel takes third. Ron Titchener going through, 71, the American rider. He's got Bevorts behind him. Then it's Bollé, and behind Bollé, seventh, it is Stefan Everts. Well, he can rest assured that Peter Ivan chased Everts over the line. Then it was Herrin and Albertine coming home in 10th. But when you consider that Albie fell on that first corner, was dead last, that's a good ride up to 10th place. To the winners, as always, the laurels. Well, Greg Albertine, the current championship leader, settling himself down, a smile at the camera for Heat 2, and certainly hoping that the same kind of problems don't befall him as they did in Heat 1. Kurt Nickel with his father, Dave Nickel, there. That's Yves Duvaret, the Frenchman, the Fly. Usually easily distinguishable by his hair. Stefan Everts making his final preparations. This, as I said, is the penultimate round, and Everts suffering with blisters on his hands after the first heat. So that will no doubt be a problem for him in Heat 2. As I said, very hot and very humid here in Suzuka. Talon Volan just warming up that rear tyre. 5-second board spins around. That gate will drop, and it does. Here they go. And it's a Suzuki rider that looks to have gone to the front. And no, it's Demarier, but it's Albertine on the inside. Nickel looked very wayward then. There's Titchener, 71. He's got Everts in front of him. But Albertine looks to have got away this time. Yes, indeed. Completely out of trouble. Bevorts, it is. Poland and... Well, there's Bartolini, there's Everts. Demarier was amongst that group. And Everts trying to force his way past Andre Bartolini, but Bartolini having none of it. DeWitt, there, number 7 behind that group. Whoa! And down when I think that's Peter Ivan. 71, Ron Titchener. Finishing well up in race 1, and it doesn't look too good for him in race 2. The American racing in Japan for 1994. Titchener had a 4th. But Albertine, 10th in the first race, he leads race 2. Bevorts, then Demarier. And here comes Stefan Everts on a traditional charge. The Belgian refuses to lie down. And it looks like Demarier that's taken the lead through the whoops. Yes, Albertine down to 2nd. Then Bevorts, his teammate. Then it's Kurt Nickel. Then Donny Schmidt, the American, and Stefan Everts. almost outgunned Schmidt through the jumps, and Schmidt holds him off in the corner. Everts tries to square it off, but has none of it. Schmidt holds him out. Demaria, Albertine, second at the moment. 17 points if he stays there. Bevorts, Kurt Nickel, he's fourth. Nickel really starting to come alive on the new 1995 Honda here. The HRC factory Honda, that is, in Japan for the first time. And remarks that the bike is very much quicker than his usual machine. Demaria on the Pepsi, Honda leads from Albertine on the Suzuki. Second, the South African, beginning to wrap up the final stages of this World Championship. One more round left to go after Suzuka. And Albertine it is that leads from this man, number 2. He's in second place in the championship, Stefan Everts, the Belgium. Bartolini still chasing hard, it's Demaria. And there really is no denying this Frenchman. Former Supercross champion, French motocross champion, now under the watchful eye of Jackie Vimond, former 250 world champion. And Vimond's career was only halted by a freak accident in a nightclub at a presentation just after he won that Grand Prix. Bevorts. Nickel. And here comes Everts on that charge, that JHK Silkling Kawasaki with DeWitt chasing him on the BFE Suzuki. Then it was Schmidt, but Demaria comes around with a celebratory wheelie. He wins, he too, here in Suzuka, Japan. Second then for Albertine, that's 17 points. Third, Bevorts, his teammate. And fourth for the Brit, Kurt Nickel. Fifth for DeWitt. And sixth then for the Belgium, Stefan Everts. Everts and DeWitt having a little bit of a coming together in that last lap, and DeWitt passed Everts, and I don't think Everts was overly happy about the pass. A little bit controversial, but nevertheless they make up. They're the best of friends. Well, the presentation then for the second heat about to take place there are our lovely 3 Japanese ladies. And it was Demaria then that won the second heat. Albertine with his glasses looking like Mr. Cool. And Bevorts third. The overall result then going to the Frenchmen, Demaria, Bartolini and Nickel, and it's goodbye from them and goodbye from us from Suzuka in Japan.
Situated close to the famous Valkenswaard circuit is Van der Werf, a company that manufacture a full range of awnings and tents used by the world's top race teams, made and fitted the same day. Van der Werf also hire out a full range of VIP marquees and will travel anywhere. For further information, ring Holland 04902 16815 using the international code of 31.
Characters can design, supply and fit your car, van or truck with top quality long life graphics. High profile designs to display your sponsors for the maximum effect. Characters as used by Team Yamaha and Motovision. Call Characters on 0438 354 843.
Round 12 then of the World 125cc Motocross Championship comes to Belgium. The final round with Bob Moore, the American, leading the championship with race number 1 about to get underway. Moore needs to finish no lower than 12th position to take the championship here, and Moore has taken the lead. Number 76, the American, Bob Moore. A dream come true if he can win here today, because 9 years he has tried to become a world champion, and at last that realisation could well be in the making. Moore leads on the Chesterfield Yamaha. There's Pedro Tractor number 1, the defending champion. Chiodi, well, he has no chance now. Number 8, the little Italian who tried so hard to take this championship away from Moore in this 94 season. He can only just watch now as Moore romps away in race 1. It's Pit Bira, number 9, then it's Tractor. Then Pigeon, the young French star, who'll be riding in America in 1995. Then it's Chiodi on the Honda. John van den Berg behind Chiodi, but it is Bob Moore, the American, who leads this first heat of this final round of the World 125 Series. Pedro Tractor and Pigeon, number 5, the Frenchman, go through. Bira, he's dropped back a place, and Chiodi still there. John van den Berg, he is also chasing Chiodi, but Bob Moore on target at the moment for those 20 points. Only a mechanical failure or an uncharacteristic mistake would cost Moore this race and this championship. Pigeon 3rd, closing. Moore down the hill. The spectators hold their breath. Can Moore do it? 9 years he's etched away at the top of the World Championship standings in not only the 125 class, but also the 250 class. This is going to be his first World Championship. Byron 9, he goes through. Here's Chiodi, the only man that could have denied him that championship. And it doesn't look as if he's going to manage to do that. Van den Berg, number 10, goes through behind Chiodi. Moore into the corner, foot cautiously down, power into the back of the Chesterfield Yamaha. It's Pigeon now, the Frenchman, up to 2nd. Pedro Tractor, the defending champion, down to 3rd. Byron now 4th. Chiodi is 5th. He needed to win this race, and he needed Moore to finish out of the top 12 to have given him any chance whatsoever of challenging in the last leg for the championship. But Moore has decided the best way to win is from the front. Bob Moore from Arizona in the United States of America finished 2nd twice in the 125 class. And Byron now chasing Tractor, and what a beautiful inside pass. The German Pit Byra executing a superb pass on the defending champion. He moves back up a place, but Moore still untroubled at the front of the field. There are one of the team mechanics to signal Moore what he needs to do, and all he has really to do is to stay in front, and he takes the checkered flag. Bob Moore celebrates the first heat win, but not more than that. He celebrates his first ever World Motocross Championship. Bob Moore, the American 125cc World Champion, 1994. The celebrations will commence, and there is the team manager, Rinaldi. That's de Groot, the JHK engine tuner, congratulating Michele Rinaldi on his championship. Bob Moore takes the first heat win and the World Championship.
Nine years, a long time to wait for a world championship, but is it worth the wait?
Oh man, it's every bit worth it. I can't even explain how happy I am. It was something I've been waiting for more than 9 years, because it was a dream that I had since I was a little boy riding 80cc. So I came over here in 1986 and I rode every year, and I never gave up, and this year it came true, and it's well worth it, that's for sure.
So you would class the return to Italy to race as the correct decision to do, because the team has certainly enjoyed the success.
That's for sure. We work really well together, and you know, in '92 I was finishing second in the 250 class with Yamaha Chesterfield Rinaldi, and I had no problem at all signing the contract. I already signed it a month ago for next year, and it looks like I'll be riding 250 class and going after the World Championship again.
Going to the line for the first 8, any problems mentally at all? You look very calm.
Yeah, you know, I just tried to be as calm as I could. I was thinking really a lot just on the start, because I knew that basically that's all I needed was get a good start to win the overall championship. But I ended up just hooking up just perfect, and I saw myself out in front, and I said, "This is it. I'm gonna go with a win here." And it looked like Tractor and Pichon were riding fairly well. I just continued. I moved out like 10 seconds or something like that, and then I rode my own race from there, and it was really good for me.
Michele Rinaldi, it's moments like this that can keep you going for several years, I believe.
I hope so, because it's not so easy to win. So this time we should keep this victory a little bit longer.
And the motivation of the team, they must be very, very happy this afternoon.
Yeah, you know, the 1-2-5 project has been planned a few months ago. Nothing was clear at the beginning. Then we said, okay, we want to go home. We proved that, you know, Yamaha capacity was pretty high. We chose a very good rider, ready for the championship, and then luckily we got a good result.
And the person involved, Bob Moore, you have enjoyed working with him also, I believe.
I know him since a few years ago. He came to me 3 years ago. He asked me a ride on the 250 class. Then I did my best to find it. Then I found. We got second. We made second on the championship on the 250. Then he moved to another team because I couldn't keep him as a third of the team. He was, you know, too fast and too good for, you know, for me. And then luckily. We found another agreement for the 1-2-5 championship for the 94 and the end of 93. So it was good. We liked, you know, we each other, you know. It's very easy to work with him. He's fast. He's not so young, but I think he feels like maybe 10 years younger.
Michele Rinaldi then enjoying the celebrations of his World Championship with Bob Moore, and Heat 2 then gets underway. It's drivers that's gone to the front. Moore didn't get such a good start, but when you have to think about it, does he need to? Well, it didn't take Moore long. He wants to go out in style, and Bob Moore has gone to the front of Heat 2. Byra behind him. Then it's Chiodi. .102 just going through in your picture there. We missed him, but it's Moore at the front. Well, no better way to win a World Championship than to win the last 2 races of the season. I think Bob Moore has that firmly etched on his mind at the moment. This is what they call going out in true style. Moore to move up to the 250 class with Chesterfield for 1995. And Byra makes a move on Moore. He goes round the outside of the American. Now, what will Moore do about that? Will he sit back, or will he not accept it and have a go back? And knowing Bob Moore the way we do, I suspect he'll want to win this second heat. Byra then, trying to finish off the season in a blaze of glory. Bob Moore behind him. Byra with that distinctive fluorescent top. Moore, 76. That'll be number 1 if he stays with the 1-2-5 ranks, but we're not sure whether he'll be 250 or 1-2-5 as yet, but we're told he will be going up. Moore then has regained the lead from Byra. Byra has been off the bike. Chiodi now comes through into second place. Byra dropping back to third. Will obviously pit Byra on the limit, making a mistake. 102, that's the Frenchman, the young 16-year-old Sebastian Tortelli. But nevertheless, Moore has won Heat 2, back-to-back, 40 points total. Chiodi chases him home in second place, but that's just a commiseration because it's Moore then that wins the heat and wins the 94 World Championship.
New 125cc world champion Bob Moore won his first world title using Pirelli tyres. From the hard tracks of Italy and San Marino to the soft tracks of Belgium and Holland, Pirelli helped Bob dominate throughout the season. Pirelli also helped Marcus Hansen to capture his first world title in the Open class. With the 125 world title and the top 3 in the Open class championship, Pirelli lead the way in tyre technology. Motovision, the video magazine. Motocross the book will be available in October and will cost just £29.95, including postage and packing. The book is made up of over 150 colour pages and includes the 125, 250 and Open Class World Championships, as well as USA Supercross and the Motocross Des Nations. Motovision's annual subscription is also available at £79.95. Motovision, PO Box 257, Horsham.
Welcome to Gelderlof, Germany for the 15th and the final round of the World 250cc Motocross Championship. Number 1, Greg Albertine, a 17 points advantage over second place man in the championships, and that's Stefan Everts. The question now is, which one of these two will it be that walks away from Germany today, a 250cc Grand Prix Championship? Will it Albertine or will it be this man, Stefan Everts? Talking to the Brit, Paul Malin. There's Kurt Nickel, number 4, looking on as the board goes up for the start of Heat 1. Gate drops, here they go. The penultimate race of the year. Who will get the whole shot? It looks like Everts. It looks like the Belgian Stefan Everts, number 2, that has got the whole shot. Everts it is. We're looking back for second. That's Nickel. Bartolini was amongst that group. Now where is Albertine? There he goes up the hill. Not a good start for Albertine. We've got 4 on the floor. But Stefan Everts it is that leads Heat 1 of this final championship round. Second place, it's the Brit, Kurt Nickel, number 4. Then it was Voland going through. Demaria is there. And there is Albertine. 17 points the difference. Albertine can afford not to have to win, but he needs to finish in the top 6 at least. They come screaming through some of these off-cambered corners here. Very difficult conditions for some of the riders, but it's Everts making no mistake at the front. He leads Heat 1. He's looking at 20 points. Now the question is, where will Albertine finish? Nickel making a charge for the lead. There's Voland 3rd. Demaria back in 4th. They're sorting themselves out. There is Albertine. We've been looking for him. So he's back in about 7th at the moment. That could be enough. It could all go to the last race, and what a championship it will be. Everts leads from Nickel, the 250 Castrol Honda rider from Great Britain. 77, the Frenchman Demaria. He's won some overalls this year at the back end of the championship. Certainly is a rider to be reckoned with in 1995. Albertine, who goes to America to race in 1995. Nickel, his 2nd year on the 250s. They've gone through the top runners. We're still waiting for Albertine. There he is, being urged on by the crowd. He needs effective points to ensure that that man doesn't take the championship away from him at the death. But Nickel dogging Everts all the way. Voland and Demaria very slippery there on that corner. You can see very shiny the surface. Albertine picks his way gently through, applies the power to the back end of the Suzuki. Albertine over the big tabletop he goes. We look the other side as the front runners come through. Everts and Nickel, 1 and 2. Nothing seems to be separating those two. Voland and Demaria, those are the top 4. 5, it looks like 6 at the moment for Albertine, yes indeed. So Albertine on course for his championship. It could all go to the last race. All that Everts could hope for is that Albertine DNFs the last race, which would effectively give Everts the championship on the plate. That's, of course, if he wins, but it's unlikely to happen. Dumouriez goes through. There's Albertine closing on Dumouriez. Stefan Everts, second in the championship, number 2 on the bike, looking like it's going to keep the 2 for 1995. Nickel, 4 on his bike. There's Albertine chasing Volan. So we've lost Dumouriez. Albertine moves up a place. Look at Nickel climbing all over Everts. He wants to take those points, and who's it going to be? It's going to be Everts. 20 points Everts, 17 for Nickel. And third, we're looking back, and it should be Albertine. It is 15 points. So close from the man himself. Well, it's just 12 points difference. Nickel being consoled by his wife, Lisa, for that second place. He wanted to win.
I was a little bit tense in the beginning and not riding so smoothly, but then afterwards I got a bit smoother and started picking up my pace and was much better at the end. I think if my calculations are correct, I only need 8th place if Stefan wins, but I was feeling really good at the end, so hopefully next race I'll be right up there.
Well, Stefan Everts missing from the presentation with disappointment, and one can only understand his feelings. Kurt Nickel then second, Greg Albertine finishing third, 12 points to go into race 2 with. Well, problems for Greg Albertine. He can't find his goggles. Well, somebody's taken them as a souvenir. There's Stefan Everts. He's got his goggles. And disappointment written all over his face. He's really got to hope for a miracle in this last race of the year. It is the last 250 Grand Prix race of 1994. Hang on to your seats. Here they go. Gate drops. It's all on the last race. Into that first set of corners, the left-hander and the right-hander. And Everts has gone down. Everts has gone down. Looks like 82 Team Lacquer that's taken the lead from Dumouriez. Yes, indeed, it's Lacquer, Dumouriez. Albertine's coming through, but Everts has gone down at the back. He's got to finish 4th. There he is, back on the bike. Albertine has to DNF the race, and Bollé, they're chasing. Well, there's Albertine. We're working this out very quickly. If Albertine DNFs the race and Everts finishes 4th, he would have won the World Championship. But the likelihood of that is very, very, very unlikely, I should say. Well, there is Everts charging through the field like a man possessed, and, well, wouldn't you be? It is Dumouriez, 77, the Frenchman, that leads in the last race of the year. There is Albertine. Well, he's up in the points. Schmidt and, well, that was Nickel. Bavort is there as well, 5. Kurt Nickel, finishing second in race 2, is up there in a good position. And here comes Everts. Well, he's got more than a mountain to climb. That's Parker behind him, DeWitt also in that group. But it is the Frenchman who excels as always on the hard tracks. Yves Dumouriez, 77 on the Pepsi-Cola Honda, that leads the last 250 race of the year. Bollé is second, number 14, another Frenchman. Then it's the Brit, Kurt Nickel. Then it's Albertine, 4th, so Nickel looking on for a good finish. There's Schmidt, who could well be retiring at the end of this race. He's got Parker behind him, and just look at this. That's Paul Cooper, the South African 39. He's got Stefan Everts right behind him. Everts has got to get to 4th. And Stefan Everts on the inside of number 9, but it looks like Dumouriez that holds the lead. The Frenchman is out there and looking at 20-point. Nickel is second. Kurt Nickel on the 1995 bike is second from Bollé. But it's this man, Dumouriez, that has the 20 points in sight. Now Nickel number 4. Bollé, the Frenchman, number 14 behind him. 81, that is Bert Eckenbach. 21, Paul Malin. Here comes Stefan Everts. Well, who would want to have to climb this kind of mountain to stand any chance of winning the World Championship? This is the second year in succession that he's been so close and things have gone wrong for him. Di Maria then takes the win from Nickel. Bollé's third. Bavort, and we've got a battle on here between Everts and Albertine, and Everts trying to push Albie a little wide, but it's going to be Everts that will take 6. Albertine takes 7th, but does it really matter? Because he is, once again, the world 250cc motocross champion. The South African Greg Albertine, racing in America for 1995. The cheers, the jubilations and the celebrations can now commence because he is once again the champion. Who needs the goggles now? Former 125cc and 250cc champion, the American Donny Schmidt collects the checkered flag. He retires.
3 in a row. Is it times like this that you remember the early days?
Well, you forget about the early days and the hardships when things like this happen. It was just a fantastic day for me, and I just want to thank God for pulling me through. I just trusted in him the whole season, and I never doubted that I would be second, and he's pulled me through.
And the end of last season, when things went wrong and you joined the team, could you ever believe it could end in 3 in a row?
Yeah, of course. You know, I'm a fighter, and I always believe everything. I'll give everything I got to what I believe in, and I believed I could be champion, and I gave it all I got this year. And the team's been fantastic, and I did it for them. And
the last race of the season, you have always done enough. And once again, we see Greg Albertine doing enough to win.
Well, that's right. You know, it's in the first race I was a little bit tense and that, and then I got into a good rhythm and I came up and I had a pretty easy second race. Just the last 10-15 minutes were really tough just to keep concentrating and keep going. And then Stefan hit me in the last corner, you know, which is totally pathetic and uncalled for, but, you know, and I haven't even seen him, so.
Well, Greg, congratulations. I'm sure those things will be quickly forgotten. You are indeed a worthy champion.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Greg Albertine on winning the 1994 World 250 Motocross Championship, riding a Suzuki RM. We wish Greg all the luck in the future, where he'll be trying to conquer the American Supercross Series and the US Outdoor Nationals, riding for Suzuki. With 1st, 4th and 6th in the 250 class and more World Motocross Championships than any other manufacturer, Suzuki, do it now! The CR Honda range of 125, 250 and 500 machines won more GPs in 1994 than any other manufacturer. Di Maria finishing 3rd in the 250 class with 6 GP overall victories, while Britain's Kurt Nickel won the final 250 GP in Germany. Honda will soon release details of their 1995 range. Honda, race bred.
The 1994 Motocross Des Nations comes to Switzerland. 73 there, that's the machine of Yves de Maurier. USA 1, 2 and 3. Number 1, the Kawasaki of Mike LaRocco. Number 12, that's the 125 bike of Paul Malins. And number 10, that's Kurt Nickel. There is de Maurier with Van Dorn on the start in anticipation. But it was Malin then on the 125, number 12, the British rider. Riding the spare machine supplied by the British rider Neil Shepherd with the Chesterfield Bobmore engine mounted inside it, with Malin's own suspension, wheels and bits and pieces. But Paul Malin, a 250 rider, or the riders coming down onto the line for the start of Heat 1. This will be a combination of 125cc and 500cc machines. Number 1 there, LaRocco, as the crowd wait anxiously for the start of the first race. So many teams entered here this year that they had to run qualifying heats on Saturday, the top 12 teams from last year being seeded directly through. So here we go, the Nations 94, Heat 1 gets underway. Who's it going to be? And it looks like number 40, that's one of the Spanish riders that has gone to the front. That's David Alves. He's poked his 500 Kawasaki into the lead, and this is good for Spain. It's then Jackie Martins for Belgium. Number 10, that's Kurt Nickel for Great Britain. The rest of the pack comes screaming through, a mixture of twin CC machines. And there is, well, that's number 9 just going through, Peter Petty Johansson for Sweden. But it's the Spanish that have got the whole shot on the rest. Here they are, number 40, David Alves. And he's got Jackie Martins, and Martins has passed him. That is de Maurier for France. And de Maurier, to the delight of the French crowd, has gone to second. And it's Martins versus de Maurier. De Maurier pops a superb uphill pass, riding the 1992 machine of Jean-Michel Bayle after Honda France refused to give him a 500. But de Maurier has taken the French to the front. There is Nickel. And number 1, LaRocco for the USA comes through. As the rest of the pack and countries come screaming through, and there's Paul Malin. He's just passed 72 Davy Strybus, who's riding for Holland, but it's the French at the moment in the 500 category that lead from Belgium, and then Great Britain with Kurt Nickel. Nickel riding the HRC engine-mounted Honda that used to belong to David Thorpe, the team manager. Number 3 in your picture there, under pressure from our very own Paul Malin, and that's Jeff Emig, the American, riding the 125. But it is de Maurier. So at the moment the French are leading the 500 category. We're looking back to see who's the first 125 through. There is LaRocco. 18 had just gone through your picture. That's Peter Bira. He's the first of the 125s. And there's Malin, Paul Malin. He's got the Chesterfield Bobmore engine mounted in that basically standard production bike, and Malin considering to ride 125 Grand Prix for 1995, depending on his results here this weekend at this Motocross Des Nations. As the rest of the pack come through, first man home in each category scores just the 1 point, second man scores 2 points. It's the team with the lowest amount of points after 3 races who take the Motocross Des Nations title, and France look to be on their way to scoring some minor points, as we should say. Just 1 point for de Maurier in the 500 category. It'll be 2 points for Jackie Martins, 3 for Kurt Nickel. Where's LaRocco? There's the Spanishman coming through. 67 just gone through in your picture. Italian Franco Rossi was the man on the bike in the 500 category. Byra just going through, and there's Malin. Malin up to second. He's gone past the American Emig. Well, this is unbelievable stuff from the Derbyshire youngster Paul Malin. has ridden the whole season on 250s in the 250 Grand Prix Series, swapping to 125s, unbelievable stuff. There is Nicol. He's our first British rider going through in the 500 Series. It's Nicol and Malin. These are our two riders to look out for. 70 and 16, Jan van Doorn there for Holland. 75, Frederic Vial for the French, and Vial only making it into the team at the last moment. But it is De Maurier, the Frenchman, leading this 500 category from Martins and Nicol. Martins on the Husqvarna four-stroke, finishing second in the World Championship. Larocco behind them there in fourth. Now who's going to be the first 125 boy through? It's Byra, and he's got Malin with him. Paul Malin makes a pass on the inside. Malin takes up the lead in the 125 category. So that looks like 1 point if he can stay there. So things are really going well at the moment for Great Britain and for France. De Maurier still leading the 500 category. Then it's Nicol. Nicol to second. This would be 2 points if Malin wins the 125, and Larocco goes to third for America. The Americans winning this Motocross to Nations for the last 13 years, and really everybody always seems to think that they'll win it again, but things are really coming alive here today here in Switzerland. 3 going through, that is the American Jeff Emig, but it's still at the front of the race and the 500 category. De Maurier, the Frenchman. Nicol, the Brit, in second with that distinctive shirt on. Then it's Belgium with Jackie Martins. Then it's America with Larocco. We're looking back, and it's still there, De Maurier untroubled. That machine, the machine that took Jean-Michel Bayle to some great race wins in America. They shipped it over from the States for this Nations for De Maurier to ride, and De Maurier certainly paying dividends on that bike. And look at Larocco, the gutsy American, determined to try and catch Martins, riding for Belgium. Martins losing his World Championship this year to the Swede Marcus Hansen. They really are beginning to set the crowd alight here, and Paul Malin leads the 125. Byra's still there in touch with him. There is Emig. Now, we would have expected Emig to have gone a little better than that. He's got the Frenchman, Frederic Vial, directly in front of him. But our very own Paul Malin is past one of America's best. 73, 500. It is Yves De Maurier that leads the race. Taps the back brake to bring the nose down. There is Kurt Nicol. He's second. He does the same, tipping that ex-HRC Thorpe Honda down that jump. We're looking back, and there is Paul Malin. Well, this is a great start. Malin giving the engine a good blip of power to clean it out before he puts the power back into the wheel, back at the front. It is De Maurier, untroubled and beginning to extend his lead. This is a great start for France. They were kind of favoured as a possible main runner. Larocco has now moved up. There's the Spaniard, Alves. He led the race initially, but unable to stay in the pace with some of these top riders. And look at Malin. He's beginning to catch and pass some of the 500 riders. He really is flying. It's great stuff from the Brit. Well, certainly, what can you say about this man? He has come, and so far he has done an excellent job. Yves De Maurier leads. Nicol is second, and Larocco now, the American, up to third. Martins has dropped back to fourth. Jackie Martins riding in place of Stefan Everts, and quite a controversial subject that is. Paul Malin back behind this group in the 125s, but Nicol going through second. And here is Malin, right up alongside the 500 rider Gert-Jan van Doorn. Emig goes through with Vial now behind him, so Emig and the USA move up a place. That's one less point to their tally. Emig, normally a 250 rider in the United States, contested the 250 Motocross Grand Prix, won the first heat, and there's David Thorpe, the British team manager. rode for nearly a decade in the Nations, never to win it. Now he's the team manager. Could this be a possible dream coming true for David Thorpe? And Larocco third, still chasing Nicol. The top four stay as they were. Whoa, the Spaniard very, very wild over the jump. 16, Dietmar Lacker just went through. 17, Van Dorn. Malin's still there. There's Byron, number 18. Here's the first of the American 125 riders, the only American 125 rider, of course, still with the Frenchman Vial behind him, and that was Emig. But it is Di Maria, the Frenchman here in Switzerland. And look at this, yes, Larocco going for second. Outbraked Nicol into the corner. The back end of that Kawasaki sliding all over the place. But he did it. Can Nicol come back from 2 points to 3? Kurt Nicol now has still got Mark, Jackie Martins and Di Maria at the front. Larocco gets the information from his pit crew as Nicol closes in, and so does Martins. Through the whoops they go on the big four-stroke. It's back at the front with the Frenchman Di Maria. We would have had Michele Pigeon riding in the 125 category, but Di Maria, after an argument at the French National, insisting that Pigeon was not given the ride, and Vial took the 125 ride in place of Pigeon. Politics do indeed play their part in motocross, but it's 1 point in the 500 category then for France, 2 points for the USA, 3 points for Great Britain with Kurt Nicol. Now let's look back. And Malin has won the 125 category. Paul Malin has blown the rest into oblivion. He has come down from 250s, and just look at this. They are delighted. Paul Malin finishing with Jeff Emig in second. That puts Great Britain and the USA even on 4 points, and France on 5 for race 2 to come. Paul Malin then, the victor of the 125 category in race 1, comes up for race 2. These will be the 125 and the 250 riders. Number 3 for America, Jeff Emig there, alongside number 15, Daryl Atkins. Number 5, Monique Bevort. And this is number 11, Rob Herring for Great Britain. As the 15-second board is prepared for Heat 2 of this Motocross Destinations 1994. 125 and 250s this time. Who's it going to be? And it's Albertine, the South African, the World 250cc champion, that gets out there in the lead. Bolle was with him second. There's Chambers, 78, that's Brian Steele from Ireland. But it is Albertine, Bolle, as they come screaming through, and Herring is fourth. Number 8, Jockey Carlson going through. There's Chambers, 17. There's Steele behind him, 18. So the Irish getting not a bad start at all. But Albertine, the South African, from Robbie Herring and the Frenchman Bolle. Then it's Carlson. We're looking back, there's Bevort. Strybus has gone through. Where is Paul Malin? And there he is. Number 12, the Brit, Paul Malin. Number 3, Emig, alongside Chambers, 77. But it is Albertine, the current World 250cc champion. He'll be riding in the United States of America for 1995. Herring, second. Bolle, third. Carlson and Chiodi is there. The lone now Italian, Alessio Chiodi. There is Kiedralski, the American number 2. 75, and there is Malin. Vial, 75, went through. I think he was the second or third of the 125 riders. There's Herring, Bolle. There is Chiodi, Bevort, and we're looking for the first of the 125s. There he is, 72. That's Dave Strybus. trying to keep in touch with these riders, so difficult. Pedro Tractor was amongst that group, but here they come. It is still Albertine that leads down the hill first, number 20 on the Suzuki for South Africa. And Albertine, well, desperate to score points, or the lack of points. Herring is still second, Bollé for France third. Then it's 8, Carlson. Bevort's on the inside of Chiodi, so Chiodi drops down a place. They come screaming through. 18 just gone through in your picture there, Pete Beera. There is Jeff Emig. And the Irish rider Chambers not too far behind the American. But Albertine beginning to stamp his authority. Herring, the British rider, riding the Kawasaki number 11, chasing in second place. The Americans and the British going into this second race level on the 4 points apiece. Looking good at the moment. 18 just going through once again on the inside line, Pete Beera from Germany. Malin just gone through. There's DeWitt and there's Emig behind DeWitt and Malin yet again. So Paul Malin, the British rider, riding out of his skin at the moment. Unbelievable stuff. Here is the race leader, Greg Albertine, second place man, Rob Herring. So it's South Africa and Great Britain. Then it's Bollé for France. Then Carlson for Sweden. There is Chiodi now, the Lone Ranger for Italy, because his fellow team riders are now out in race 1. We lost Rossi with the stone in his face, and we also lost Delago when he crashed with another rider. There's Malin yet again. And, well, what can I say about Paul Malin? He's got Emig still behind him, but here comes the South African, Greg Albertine, leading the 250 category in race 2 of this 94 Des Nations. Still got the Brit, Rob Herring, behind him. Looking back behind that group. And, well, look at this. Oh, that's the American. Number 2, Kudrowski, moving up a place. So we saw Larocco pass Nickel there in the first race. Kudrowski has just passed somebody else in race 2 on that same corner, so it's all about late on brakes. There's Kudrowski going past number 72, Strybus, first of the 125 men. They are really battling. There goes, well, there's Emig, still got DeWitt in front of him, number 6. So Jeff Emig not having the best of rides, finished second in heat 1 in the 125 category, but he's having to really work hard at this. Herring beginning to close now on the South African, Albertine, and oh, something's happened here. Albertine's off. Herring has inherited the lead. Albertine has hit a deer. A deer ran across the track in front of Albertine. They hit him at high speed, cartwheel him down that hill. Well, let's hope he's going to be okay. Bollé now, Carlson, and Bevort's for Belgium. Then it's the lone Italian rider, Chiodi. And the Italians having a terrible time of this Des Nations. Then it is Kudrowski, Strybus. And there's Malin, second in the 125 category. So Malin going after Strybus, coming through. And there is Albertine. Well, the bike looks a bit damaged and Albertine looks a bit stiff. But he hit a deer absolutely on full song, coming down the hill. Well, it killed the deer outright, and it certainly did a lot of damage to the South African, but that's out then of Heat 2 goes Greg Albertine. Carlson, number 8. There is Chiodi. It really has been a bad Des Nations, as I said, for the Italians. Andre Bartolini, one of the Des Nations squad, crashing earlier on before this event and breaking his collarbone. Then Federici having a serious accident in Rome on a moped. He could have been a Des Nations runner for Italy. Having to settle for Rossi, Chiodi and Delago in the end, but Delago and Rossi out. Herring now leads the 250 category for Great Britain. Bollé, France, second. Then it's Bevort's 5 for Belgium, third. Then it's Carlson for Sweden, fourth. Then it's 68, Chiodi for Italy. then the American Kudrowski, then it's Strybus on the 125. Where is Malin? And the answer is there he is. Paul Malin second at the moment behind Strybus. So Herring leads the 250 category. If Malin can get past Strybus, we could have just a 2-point score from this one. Bevorts has moved up into second over Bolle. Carlson, the Swedish rider, sits back in fourth. The Italian Chiodi, what can he do? Then it's Kudrowski, then Strybus. Here comes Malin. Paul Malin on a charge. He's got Pedro Tractor on the inside of him, but he passes him. Oh, somebody's gone down in a massive heap. Can't see who it was. There is Emig, number 3 on the 125. Oh, Herring very nearly went down then. A lax of concentration from the British rider Rob Herring very nearly ended his reign at the front of this race. But he's being urged on by the spectators. He's got a big gap over second place man, but he can't afford to make mistakes. Bevorts, Belgium now second. Oh, Bolle's dropped it. Bolle hands that third place to the Swede, Yoki Carlson on the Kawasaki number 8. So the Frenchman making a complete faux pas of that. Here comes the American, Kudrowski. Still got Strybus behind him, and there is Malin closing on Strybus. Remember, Strybus leads the 125 group at the moment. DeWitt, he's got 75 right there with him at the moment. Vial it was, the Frenchman, so there is Emig for the United States of America on the 125. So we've got Strybus and Malin leading the Americans in that category. Herring still leading the 250 group at the moment despite that mistake. Bevorts still there for Belgium. Bolle looks to have come back past Carlson. So France third. There is Chiodi, and there is, well, that's Kudrowski, the American number 2. Malin still second in the 125 category. He won the first outing. Tractor on the 250 behind him. Here's DeWitt. Then it is Emig. Well, the big cheer goes up as number 18, the German. Pit Bera goes through, but it is Herring for Great Britain that leads the race and the 250 category at the moment. Bevorts for Belgium second. We're back with the leader, Herring. Can he stay there till the checkered flag and take the 1 point? That would mean 5 points for Great Britain. If Malin can win the 125, that would be 6 points. There's Bevorts. He's second at the moment, looking at 2 points. Bolle for France. He's third in the 250 category, and he's looking at 3 points if he stays in his present position. And there's a battle on behind that group. This is Chiodi, the Italian, up the hill. The only one left in the team. There is Kudrowski and 72 Strybus. And there's Malin, Paul Malin. Once a 500 Grand Prix rider, changing to the 250 category a few years back. And so far, major success has eluded him in that group. But he looks to be swapping down to 125 for 1995. Oh, Vial there, pressurising the American, Jeff Emig. Frederic Vial, the 125 rider from France, climbing all over the American. And it's not often you see the Americans being pushed so hard, but this could be the turning point. 13 years they've won this championship. Herring still leads the 250 group. We're looking back for second. It should still be Bevorts, and it is. The Belgium going through. Third, the Frenchman, Bolle, number 74. Fourth now for the American, Kudrowski. Fifth for the Italian. And the first of the 125 men, Strybus. Here comes Malin on that Bob Moore Chesterfield engined Yamaha. DeWitt, the American, Emig. Where's Vial? There he is. So Vial, the Frenchman, hasn't given this up. Herring dominating at the front. These are long races. Plenty of time to make mistakes or have mechanical problems. Bevorts still chases second. Bolle unable to close down on the 2 in front. But this will be 3 points if he finishes third. And Chiodi has come back at the American. And Kudrowski goes on the inside of the Italian. And Strybus, the 125 rider, sits back there watching the action going on. There's Malin, still back there behind Strybus. Herring on target for a win in this 250 group race. Race 2, this is, remember, of 3 races. Bevorts, it should still be second, and it is. So the Belgium holding on to those points, those 2 points that he'll take if he stays in second spot. 74, it's still Bolle. Looking back behind Bolle, and it is the American Kudrowski for third. And look at Strybus. Strybus on the 125 climbing all over Chiodi on the 250. Here's Malin, the second of the 125 riders, being cheered on by the British fans. Then it's Werner de Wit for Belgium. Then it is Emig for the United States of America. Then Frédéric Vial for France, in place of Pigeon, who's gone to America to continue his racing career. Herring through the whoopie-doos. Bevorts is beginning to close on him. Now what can Bolle do about those 2 in front? Or can Kudrowski catch the Frenchman? Well, the Frenchman's a long way. 72, that's still Strybus, the first of the 125 men. But Paul Malin is beginning to close. He can see him. Whoa, he goes through those whoopie-doos. Nose end of the bike down. There's Emig. Emig back in around third at the moment, with Vial there behind him. Now can Vial get past the American? Herring still leads, but Bevorts, the Belgium, is closing down. Is this going to be a win for Belgium in Heat 2 of this 94 Des Nations? Now, behind this Frenchman, number 74, there should be an American, number 2, Mike Kudrowski. And it doesn't look like Kudrowski's going to catch him. Herring, down the hill again, up over the big uphill jumps he goes. Serious air they grab over those jumps. Bevorts, you can see Bevorts closing. The Frenchman being urged on by the crowd here, the French crowd that have turned out to see him. He knows he's got an American behind him. That's Kudrowski. Then it's Chiodi. Then Strybus. Now where's Malin? There's Strybus. There's Malin. He's catching. He is definitely catching Dave Strybus. De Wit. Emig. And Vial. He's chasing that group. Young Frédéric Vial is not giving it up. He's giving Jeff Emig a real run for his money. Herring gets his pit boards, giving him the information to tell him exactly how far this man, Monique Bevorts, is behind him on the 250 Suzuki. The Frenchman, Bolle, still third. And can Kudrowski, number 2 here, the American, catch him? Oh, look at this. Vial now was trying to pass the American Emig, but he's got De Wit sandwiched between them. Herring still leads this group. Bevorts is still second. Monique Bevorts finishing 4th in the World 250 standings for 1994. The flags are being held high by the variation of supporters here at this donation. We've got French, we've got Italians, we've got British, Belgians, oh, we've got Spanish, everybody's here. The best of the best from all over the world are picked to ride in the motocross donations, and they really are giving us some wonderful entertainment. Malin goes through. Then it's Pedro Tractor 71, but this is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. De Wit and Emig and Vial, the Frenchman, giving the American no respite at all, and De Wit must be wondering what's going on behind him. Those two are really battling for those positions. Herring still leads for Great Britain in the 250 category, that is. We're looking back for second. Well, you can tell by the flags. There is the Belgium, Monique Bevorts. He's second in the 250 category. The French flags you'll see now for this young man. Frédéric Bolle, number 74, France. Then it's the American. Well, not so many flags for the Americans here. It's a long way to come to race. for American fans, but I'm sure they have some. Look at this, for a right old battle. Malin is still there second. He's still chasing Davy Strybus, number 72, but that's Pedro Tractor. Out go the flags again. There's DeWitt. Then it's Emig. Then it's Vial. Well, look at those Belgian flags. It really is a tussle here. Nobody at the moment is hassling the man at the front. The Brit, Robbie Herring, started his racing career in South Africa. He took over this lead when the South African Greg Albertine collided with a stray deer that ran across the circuit. And unfortunately, it killed the deer. But luckily, Albertine not too seriously injured, just a bit bruised. Third place man, the Frenchman, Bollé, still chasing Bavorts, the Belgium. The American here, Kudrowski, can do absolutely nothing about those three in front. And it's not often you say that about an American. Then it's Chiodi, the Italian, and there is Strybus. Here's Malin. Malin is right with Davy Strybus. There's Pedro Tractor. He's on the 250. There is Emig. Emig still third, and Vial has now gone to fourth in the 1-2-5 group. So where is DeWitt? He's been off the bike, one can only assume. Herring, and you can see Bavorts in the background now. And once Marnik Bavorts gets a sniff of the back end of that RWJ's Kawasaki of the British rider, that's going to spur him on to greater things. Bollé beginning to pick their way through the back markers. Kudrowski, he can't see Bollé. There's nothing to urge him on any quicker than he's going, except maybe if he gets caught by a following rider. And Malin is right now. You can see Strybus. There's Emig. Emig can't even see Malin in front, so he's got no chance. Vial, the Frenchman, he's fourth. 18, that's Beira from Germany. So we've lost DeWitt completely. And there is Bavorts. And I suspect he's beginning to catch Herring on the remaining few laps. Bollé still third. This will be 3 points for France. Well, we're looking down the track, and what's going to happen? That's Malin, that's Chiodi. Malin has taken Strybus drops it. Malin has taken Strybus. Strybus too much power on the back wheel. There is Pedro Tractor coming through on the 250. He's got to get this bike started, because in the background there's the American. That's Emig. Emig third. Emig will want to try and get past Dave Strybus to take second. And Bavorts has got past Herring on the last couple of laps. Bavorts for Belgium wins the 250 group. Herring comes home in second. Now, where is Paul Malin? Has he won the 1-2-5 group? If so, that's a back-to-back win. There's Bollé. Well, that's third for France. And Steve Dixon, the mechanic for Paul Malin, well, he looks pretty chuffed. It's going to be Malin. Yes, indeed, Paul Malin does a back-to-back win, just 2 points to his credit. Well, wonderful thing for Paul Malin. That's going to put Britain with 7 points. Emig has come home behind Malin second. That gives America 10 points. Kudrowski finishing fourth, and France have 12 points. Well, what about that then? Great Britain lead the Motocross to Nations.
Paul Malin, congratulations. You could do no more than 2 wins.
No, I mean, I thought I was in front. I wasn't watching any of my pit signals. And then suddenly, about 3 laps to go, I get a board signal saying second place, -4. So I looked ahead and saw Strybus, and I kept going and going and going. And then I think I made the pass with like a lap to go, and I think it was a pretty cool pass. I dragged him up the hill, and he tried to come back at me, but I held the inside line, and that was it.
Well, you must be very happy with that result.
Yeah, very happy.
And the team are riding good?
Yeah, the team are riding very good. I mean, now it's just up to like Kurt and Robbie. If we have a good ride, then I can't see why we can't pull it off.
Paul Malin, well done.
Thanks very much.
Little bit of nostalgia here at the destinations. This is a veterans race. I won't call them old-timers because some of them are not that old, really. Into the lead goes a local man, number 22, that's Joseph Lochester. He's riding the 74 Mako. As they all come roaring, there's great stuff. Look at this. Number 1, 5 times 500cc world champion Roger DeCosta on a Suzuki. There's Rob Hooper, number 9, the Brit, the Suzuki team manager, and number 1 on his back, number 4 on the bike. That's Graham Noyes, the 1979 World 500cc champion. Jimmy Ed, number 14 on the Mako, has gone into the lead. And there, number 3, that's Harry Everts. Son Stefan Everts rides in the 250 World Championships. DeCosta on that Suzuki. It's the factory Suzuki. One of the bikes that DeCosta won one of his many World Championships on. Number 9, AGS, the Brit, Rob Hooper. And, well, what can you say about these guys? Number 5, just there in your picture momentarily, that was Neil Hudson. And Neil Hudson actually won the race. There's Graham Noyes feckling that 79 500cc Red Rocket Honda. Well, we're here on the line then for the final donations race of the day. These are the 250s and the 500s. Remember, Great Britain currently lead the donations with just 7 points. America second with 10 points, France third with 12 points. It's all on the last race. For Britain, it is Nicol and Herrin. LaRocco rides for the United States with Kudrowski. And Demarie, who won the first 500 category race, and it's number 40, the local man that gets the lead again. We've got some on the floor, and I can't see who they are, but well, that looks like Demarie. Well, Demarie, who already injured his foot in race 1, 73 on the bike. He's riding the ex-Jean-Michel Bale 500cc bike. He can't get it started. Yes, it kicks up. Well, Demarie dead last. Well, that's bad news for France for their championship chances. But into the lead once again, number 40, the Spaniard, David Alves. And Jackie Martins was also a casualty. There's Herrin for Great Britain. That first turn crash claiming that man, Yves Demarie, being cheered on by the fans, but it's Kurt Nicol for Great Britain who leads from Bollé, from Alves, from number 1, the American Mike LaRocco. And Marcus Hansen, number 7, was amongst that group, the current World 500cc champion. There is Kudrowski, so the Americans haven't got off to too good of a start. It is Nicol for Great Britain, and the British fans here are going to be absolutely going wild. Then it's the Frenchman Bollé second, as the rest of the pack comes screaming through. What can Demarie do about that awful start that he got? There is Herrin. Number 11, Rob Herrin. Well, I think most of the pressure rests on his shoulders at the moment. There's Kudrowski, he's behind the Herrin, and Bollé closing on Nicol. Then the Spaniard. Then it's the American LaRocco. We're trying to get our breaths back here at the moment, but, well, we got a Irishman just went through in that pack. That was Chambers, but look at this. It is Nicol on the 500 from Bollé on the 250. LaRocco is third. Then it's Bevorts from Belgium. Then Hansen from Sweden. We're looking back, and there's Herrin, our cameraman, picking up the British rider. Well, can Britain do this? There's the American Kudrowski. It's between America and Great Britain, and at the moment Great Britain have the advantage over the Americans. 3 points the difference going into this last race. There's LaRocco. There's Herrin. Nicol is out in front and still is there under pressure from the Frenchman. But even if Bollé wins, Demarie is way down the field, having crashed on the opening lap. There, 20. That was Albertine, recovered from that crash with that runaway deer in the second race. There is Herrin now. Kudrowski's still there behind. Well, if Kudrowski stays behind Herring and Nicol can stay in the top 3, we could well pull this off. Larocco, Bevorts. Then it's Albertine with a nicely straightened up Suzuki. Then it's Hansen. There is Chiodi, the only Italian rider left. Then it's Herring. Now, there is Kudrowski getting caught up with some of the other riders. Herring has got to stay in front of him. But it is Kurt Nicol for Great Britain on the Dave Thorpe HRC Honda that leads this last race of this 94 Nations. There's Larocco back in 3rd. Albertine closing on his teammate Bevorts. I'll be riding for South Africa, of course. Chiodi going through. There's Herring. Now, where is Kudrowski? There he was. He just went through in your picture. And Bollet's taking the lead. Bollet leads from Nicol. And just look at this, the American Larocco being climbed all over by the South African world champion 250cc, Greg Albertine. And come on, Albie, if you can get past Larocco, this is really good news for Great Britain. There's Herring. Now, where is Kudrowski? Well, to answer your question, there he is, right behind Herring. Jackie Martin's number 4, despite falling in the opening corner, has sided his way through the pack and is now behind the American. Well, we are really getting absolutely ecstatically excited here at the moment. Bollet leads the 250 group and Nicol leads the 500 group. Larocco second in the 500s. Second for Albertine in the 250s, and Nicol coming back at Bollet. He really doesn't have to win the race. He just has to stay out in front of Larocco. And has Nicol got him up the top? The answer to that is yes. Well, there's no denying Kurt Nicol's intentions in this race. He wants to win the race. Larocco goes to second. Bollet to 3rd in the race, but still leads the 250 category. So it's Nicol and Larocco in the 500s, Bollet and Albertine in the 250s, and Bevorts has suddenly come through. There's Kudrowski, yes indeed, up there with Chiodi, the Italian, both on 250s. There's Nicol and Larocco. Nicol leading the race at the moment. And look at Nicol, what's going on here? Well, he's moved over and let Larocco through. Well, I suppose it's a wise move when you consider that it doesn't matter if Larocco wins. We drop one race result. Larocco wins the race. Bollet comes through. He heads the 250s from Bevorts. But Nicol has finished second in the 500s, and that's enough to give the British the Motocross des Nations crown. 27 years since Great Britain won the crown. Just look at them going bananas. It doesn't matter where Herring finishes. Great Britain wins the 1994 Motocross des Nations. Well, there'll be some tears shed around this circuit this afternoon. Kurt Nicol, Robbie Herring and Paul Malin victorious. They've won the des Nations. The American domination after 13 years has been smashed. Great Britain wins. Belgium team congratulating Great Britain. We spoke to Kurt Nicol about his feelings.
I don't know how many Motocross Nations I've done, but it's been a lot of years, stretching back to 84, and I've never known us really to be in with a chance, and today we held in there the whole day.
And many would have said that possibly we didn't have a chance.
Possibly me included. you know.
So you're as surprised as all of us, really?
Yeah, I probably am. I'm obviously surprised by the way that Paul rode the 125. Although, having said that, I could see he was smoking on it, you know, a couple of 3 weeks ago. But to win both heats, I mean, I never expected him to do that. And you know what Robbie did, okay, that's always possible from Rob. And you know, he just let no one down today.
We spoke then to Robbie Herring to tell us all about the team spirit.
We've had a good week, you know, thanks to David. We've trained, all of us trained together, we've ridden together when we could, you know, due to the weather being so bad. And, you know, morale's been really high. And, you know, I think that's one of the major things, you know, you've got to get on as a team. And we got on really good as a team, and we like egged each other on, and, you know, we try to give each other confidence, and we did it. And I'm really pleased. We all rode good. You know, Paul was brilliant, and Kurt, you know, excellent as well.
Was it difficult for you going to the line for the second heat when you realised that suddenly we was in with a good chance?
It wasn't too bad. I think the first heat was more nerve-wracking. The second heat, because we got 4 good results anyway, so all we needed was one reasonable result in the last heat.
Yeah.
And I got a bad start, and but I got a good start, and then I had to go around the 3 crashes in the first corner, and I came out real bad. And halfway through they gave me the pit signal that Kurt was leading. And I just tried to stay where I was, and I had a problem with my ankle in the second race, so I was just glad to finish where I was. But I was keeping an eye on the board with Kurt, and I knew Kurt was up there, and I didn't know we'd won it though until I come over the line.
And what a scene!
Brilliant, you know, I've never seen anything like it, you know, and it's excellent.
David, much criticism before today's event over team selection. You must have been sick to death of that by the end of last week.
Yeah, I was, but I mean, having worked with the lads, I knew I'd picked the right team. I mean, we got 3 professional lads, 3 professional mechanics. We had a really good setup. We had a good week here together. They all worked hard. We had a nice atmosphere within the team, and I knew that given a little bit of luck in the first turn, we could do it.
And team spirit, everybody says, all team members say that it played a big part, and they say that you're responsible for bringing it together.
Well, I mean, I like the 3 lads. I get on well with them. They get on well with one another. And I think when you've got 4 professional people that really want to do the same thing, I think you're always going to have that good spirit. And it's a credit to them all, the riders, mechanics, the teams, everything. It was really, really pleased. It was great. Great for everybody at home. It's just like winning another World Championship for me. I mean, it's brilliant.
From the celebratory team manager David Thorpe to the dejected Americans, it's goodbye from Switzerland.